Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome today to a review of a watch from a brand that is brand new to the channel. Almost. I actually included this very watch sight unseen in my AliExpress top 10 recommendations video in November last year. The brand saw that video, they got in touch and they said, hey, thanks for the feature, can we send you the watch for a full review? Hence the pop-up today. The brand is called Sesame and the watch they call Eyes of the Dragon. I call it the love child of a Hamilton Murph and a Seiko Alpinist, but with a price tag far, far lower than either of those two big brand watches. And these Sesames are available for under $140 during the sale. I will therefore of course leave a link to the listing in the description of the video. What do I think of the watch then? Well, it's good, but it could be better. Let's flip the camera and have a look at it. All right, let's get into it. But before we do, let's take a moment to appreciate undoubtedly the best packaging I have seen on a watch at this price and the best packaging I have seen on an AliExpress watch at any price. You know, you may not be passing this one down to the next generation. The box might not last that long, but it's all very, very neat and tidy considering the modest outlay. You also get, as part of the package, a second leather strap, which I have been wearing and it's actually very comfortable. Heaps of spare links, but because it's an AliExpress watch, the warranty card remains unsigned. Now look, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be too hard on this watch. If you have bought one or if you like what you see here, then go ahead. It does get my recommendation. I think it's a good watch, but I think there is a great watch lurking inside of this good watch, if you see what I mean. I'm going to run through the basics, dimensions and specifications, etc. Then I'm going to show you maybe 3 or 4 areas, key areas that I think if they put in a little bit of work, a few tweaks here and there, they could elevate it from good to great. Great set of dimensions though from the off, 38mm in diameter, 12.8mm thick, 45mm lug to lug, which is fantastic. 20mm between the lugs is a bit of a taper down to 17.5, back up to just under 20 at the clasp. As sized for me, 7-inch wrist, 133 grams. 100 meters of water resistance, screw down crown. Again, all of this is fantastic, as is the sapphire crystal. That is a lovely piece of double domed sapphire with anti-reflective undercoating. And the movement, there's a slight twist on the norm here. It's not a Seiko NH35, it's an Epson YN55. Which, if you're not familiar with it, is the movement found inside the Orient Komatsu. It's an Orient in-house movement rather than a Seiko in-house movement. Effectively the same level anyway as any of the Seiko 4R NH movements. Stainless steel screw down case back, again that 100 meters of water resistance. Case finish is about as basic as it can possibly be. Fine brushing on the side of the case. It's a circular brush to the upper lug surfaces, but the bezel's nice, it's high polish and it's concave. So you've got a nice kind of effect between the case and that piece of sapphire crystal. Kind of vintage style screw down crown with the Sesame Z on there as well. Good size, plenty of grip. And hey, I cannot knock a decent beads of rice for the price. This is a proper 7-linker as well. Each of those little grains, each of the beads is an individual piece. Screws hold the whole thing together. And if you didn't spot them earlier on, quick release end links for swapping back and forth to the supplied leather strap. The clasp though is one of the areas that I will be suggesting improvement upon. It has a milled lower, but it's this super basic pressed upper, high polish with the brand just printed on top of it. Only 3 holes to micro adjust. The very bottom rung of the clasp ladder these days. Now in terms of dial and hands, it's all quite simple. It's just a printed dial. There's a nice kind of vertical metallic style brushing to this one, although they refer to this colour as white. It is not white. It is
silver. It is most definitely silver. And I'm sure you can see what I mean when I say it's the kind of love child of a Murph and an Alpinist. It's got the very distinctive Arabic font on the 12, the 3 and the 9 of the Murph, and it has the very distinctive cathedral hour hand of the Alpinist and the Murph as well, to be honest. It's not a bad look overall. I'm not quite convinced that the proportions are right though. I feel the hands could be a little bit larger and the brand logo there could be a little bit smaller. One interesting fact on this silver/white version is all of those markers are loomed. So the batons are loomed, the Arabics are loomed, but they've used a kind of black loom. And if you've ever experienced black loom before, you know it's not that fantastic. What I do like, on the other hand, is the integrated color-matched date wheel down there at the 6 o'clock. It's a mark of sophistication from an AliExpress brand, especially at this sub $150 price point, that they're giving you such a well-integrated date complication. Overall, it looks good, but I think it could look better. It wears very, very nicely though. All of those little beads of rice links are very comfortable. And the black hands, black markers, black numerals, black Arabics against that silver dial do allow a fair degree of legibility. It's not a big watch at 38, but minimal bezel, maximum dial. Now, this is not the only colour option. If you look on AliExpress or the brand's own website, there are 5 or 6 others available. A lot of them, though, have a gold-toned bezel. This, I asked for this one specifically. I thought it was the standout colour. I'm a little bit miffed that it is, in fact, silver and not white. It looks okay, but I suspect it would have looked even better if the dial had, in fact, been white. All right, then, that was a fairly brief rattle-through of the basics and a couple of wrist shots. I think this is a good watch, especially considering the modest price tag. But I think a few small tweaks and it would become a great watch. Zezimi clearly have aspirations of greatness. Look at their packaging, for example. I would love to see them make a few changes here. If that increases the price by $20 or $30, no problem. I think the fundamentals here would justify that. What then would I change? Well, I would change the loom for a start. I've seen this black loom attempted a couple of times now and I've never seen it executed anything other than poorly. There clearly wasn't enough layers on the dial to make it work. There clearly isn't the budget to make this type of loom work. I'm not sure why they bothered. If I turn the speed up on this one, the indices are gone within about 2 minutes. The hands follow shortly thereafter. Definite room for improvement. Likewise the case, it's not bad, but it's so basic. I would love to see a bit more money go into this one. I would love to see maybe a chamfer lug tip to lug tip. I would love to see also any kind of effort to get them to match the case with the bracelet. The bracelet looks entirely off the shelf because it probably is entirely off the shelf. And the clasp, you knew this one was coming. Again, wouldn't take much. Spend an extra $3 or $4 for a much, much better result. In some ways, the Zezimi Dragon's Eye then falls slightly uncomfortably between two stools on AliExpress. The sub $100 Addis Dive Pagani stuff that is just full of specs, but you don't mind the occasional miss here and there because they're so damn cheap. And then the San Martin $200+ stuff that just reeks of quality. This one, with its low $100 price tag, kind of falls in between those two markers. That's why I would love to see them push the quality up, even if that meant pushing the price up. I think the fundamental watch here is good enough to justify it, and hey, at least they wouldn't have to touch the outstanding packaging. They could leave that just how it is.
So there you have it, the Zezimi Eyes of the Dragon. Once again underscoring how good a watch you can get on AliExpress for not an awful lot of money. Having said that, I think this one needs a V2. I'd like to see it evolve upwards, if you see what I mean, with a more refined case, a better clasp, a bigger handset, and some more loom on the dial. But it is still a cracking deal if you've bought one of these in the past, or if you can get one in the future at the right price. Well, if this is the love child of an Alpinist and a Murph, I better direct you towards reviews of an Alpinist and a Murph, hadn't I? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.